Well, David Fleming, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to talk to me about Widow's Bay. Um, I'm curious as to how you came to the project. I'm assuming it's because both you and director Hiro Murai have worked with Donald Glover, or am I completely incorrect?
I don't know. You may be correct about that. Yeah, we both worked on Mr. and Mrs. Smith together actually. So I had worked with Hero before. Um, uh, but actually the first call I got was from Katie Dippold, the showrunner, just to talk about the show. And when she described the show, I was like, this sounds amazing. This can't be a real show. It sounds so up my alley. And then she sent over a couple episodes, and it was kind of confirmed that it was as um, kind of, beautifully strange in the most entertaining way. And so, yeah, it was kind of off to the races after that. But it was also great to work with Hero again. He's not only is he one of my favorite directors, the way he shoots, it's specifically very fun to write music for. There's some sensibility that I can't explain it. It just makes me want to go for something a little outside the box, and it's I just generally have a lot of fun.
I'm really curious as to like what the elevator pitch you got that hooked you into this show and made you want to know more about it.
Well, you know what? It was Katie. Katie actually talked to me a lot about how certain horror movies made her feel.
Oh.
So I think a lot of our conversation was almost philosophical about a certain type of horror movie. She talked about the first time she'd seen Jaws, and maybe not just the first time, but Jaws being something she particularly loved. And I think we talked a lot about the fun of a scare. And because one of the things that she was trying to balance was the fact that it is sort of equally a comedy and a horror show. And it's this beautiful blend. It's not kind of one and the other. It really is together. And one of the things we talked about that I think kind of tapped into that is that feeling of when you're being taken on a ride in a horror movie, and how a well executed scare can make you laugh, and it has all these emotions sort of together. And I think that was something she was trying to capture and tap into. And it was really, I think she also understood how music could help define that tone and help with that ride. And so we sort of became uh, almost tonal collaborators. And she was always it was always about protecting the boundaries of this very specific story, and trying to give that ride to the audience wherever possible.
The the fourth episode just dropped today while we're talking,
Yeah.
and I feel like it must have provided such a challenge for you because it does. That's like very much. It's very much. It's called Beach Reads.
Hmm.
And it so perfectly encapsulates that blend of it's very uncomfortable, but it's very funny. And then on top of that, for you as the composer, there's a ton of needle drops in this. So
Mm.
I'm just curious as to like, was this a point in the process where you really had to lock in and you were thankful that you had had a couple episodes to find your footing before being presented with this challenge?
Oh, I mean, you know what? This is probably the fourth episode might be my favorite episode, on the whole. Not even musically, just it's this amazing kind of short story about Patricia, one of the side characters, and I think it kind of encompasses what the series is trying to do, on the whole. Because I think, as you pointed out, it is this. It's funny, and it's scary, but it's also there's a lot of character in there too. There's something very sad about about it, and I think it's so deftly kind of walks this again this tonal tightrope. It was a challenging musical episode. There's the needle drops you mentioned. There's the big rhythm of the night one. I'm trying to remember if there was another one in there.
There's Let's Dance.
Oh right,
This
yes,
is how
yes,
we do it. Yeah, it's
right,
that
yes,
party
yes.
scene has a
The,
lot going on.
no, that's right. The DJ set. Yeah, the fun of this episode was to try to the episode has a sort of slow ramp up of her finding this book. We sort of see her, that she's kind of an isolated person and looking for connection. She finds this book that can help her with this, and the book sort of unlocks this, I would say, very relatable mania
Mhm.
of having a party and checking the RSVP list and worrying if people are coming, and at the same time under this this character based mania, there's this clue of something darker at play and something more sinister. And so the fun of it was to kind of take the music from this aspirational, almost old fashioned kind of dreamlike kind of sense of who she thought she could be, and then slowly introduce undercurrents, these darker undercurrents that really pay off at the end. It was one of the trickier ones, and was really the best example of like a back and forth with Katie and I, because she's has such a specific vision of these characters and the feel of the show, and it's a fun one. I'm really people seem to be responding to it, and also the acting in the show in general is amazing, but I think the actress who plays Patricia is so incredible in this episode.
It's so good. Uh, like, given that you've done so many other genres of work, like, I mean, you've done action and you've done documentaries and you've done comedies and all of these things. Is there a particular thing that has helped you, like, on this show, like in your past? I have to feel like something like Blue Planet too, like really, like those Blue Planet documentaries, like the scores for them encapsulate everything from like whimsy to terror to awe. And I'm just wondering, like, what sort of helped you lock in with Widow's Bay?
Yeah, Widow's Bay is one of those that's my favorite kind of challenge, where it's not steeped. It's referencing genre, but the tone they're going for is not steeped in genre specifically. Like it's not easy to kind of give a perfect reference point for what this show is trying to be. I think it is very unique. Um, and I would say in general, I'm sort of uninterested in genre from a scoring perspective. I really I, like ob- obviously I those things need to be acknowledged to a certain extent. If there's a jump scare, that's a jump scare. That's got to happen. It's and with things like The Last of Us, I've gotten plenty of practice on that. But I really think the fun I have, no matter what the project, whether it's Blue Planet or Superman or Anaconda, it's like locking in with this specific story and this specific group of characters. And I really try my best not to think about genre or what should be done. It's I really like to find things that are surprising even to myself, and and it's it's maybe easier to get away with something surprising with something like Widow's Bay or even like Mr. and Mrs. Smith, where the they aren't going for a straight up genre thing. Um, but I've been lucky to work with directors who are kind of generally open to the power of music and open to being surprised and don't want just to repeat the thing you've heard a million times. So I think with Widow's Bay specifically, the fun was how do we incorporate elements of the genre without ever going fully into that. I think it's so specific. My approach to the show actually was, for the moment, at least when I started, like, let's ignore horror, ignore comedy. Let's just focus on the personality of this town because it is so specific. It's steeped in curiosity and mystery, and that kind of was more my focus. And how do I find a palette that, you know, how do I find a palette that reflects what I feel, which is that despite all the dread, despite all the terrifying things that happen in the show, it's a place you want to hang out, uh, and you kind of want to keep revisiting. It's kind of a pleasure. It's not a horror story where you're dreading the next scare. It's again like what Katie was looking for. I think it is the ride and the fun of of the scares, and that Widow's Bay is just, in a way like Twin Peaks. Like, I just want to hang out here. I just want to know more about this place.
The vibe of the show is so very much like as though Castle Rock or
Mm,
Derry or Salem's Lot
yeah.
ended up in like the Amblin entertainment world. Like where
Yes.
it's this beautiful combination of just like very, community and like yeah, like you said, you want to spend time in it, but also there are things behind doors and locked in closets and
Hmm.
buried underground.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think those reference points are deep in Katie, and I think she was very good about kind of having a barometer to stick to that. And, yeah, and it's been funny to see people, scramble to, it's, Stephen King meets Parks and Rec, and it's, Fargo but in a haunted town. It's because people want to. I think it's not so much, hey, we need a genre to put on this or a tagline. It's that what I've noticed is that people who really love the show want to sell it to other people that they talk to, and they, right, they want to describe it in their friends in a way that is going to make their friends watch it, because I think everyone is seemingly connecting to people in that way. But yeah, for me, Stephen King was a big thing. There was something about this show that reminded me of reading like one of his short story collections,
Mhm.
where the
Oh
whole
yeah.
thing has a vibe. I remember Night Shift was one I read when I was a kid, and the whole thing has a vibe, and maybe they're not directly connected. I mean, in this, there is a plot that unfolds, but at the same time, there's a lot of fun we're having with kind of these short stories of horror along the way, and so yeah, that element really connected with me, and it reminded me of reading those collections, and scaring myself.
Well, I'm glad that you are having as much fun scoring this as like folks are having watching it. Because it really comes through. Like the music is so like playful and exciting, and you work in all these different modes. I love the fact that, sometimes it's just like very lovely strings, and other times there are creepy voiceless choruses going on, and
Hmm.
it feels as though you really get to pull out all the stops for this one.
Yeah, it is one of those that, um, I had a very similar experience on Mr. and Mrs. Smith, on the other show I worked on with Hero, where it something about this show, the license to have fun creating something is just wide open. And um yeah, it was, each episode was its own kind of specific pleasure, and even I remember I was on the dub for the final episode, and well, I don't want to ruin anything or sort of skew it the wrong way, but but certain things got huge laughs in the dub that weren't necessarily comedy moments, and I think it was just everyone was kind of delighted at how the show was coming together, and that was kind of a pleasure to be a part of.
Well, that's absolutely wonderful. Are there any other projects that you're working on that you're excited about that you can also discuss at this point?
Yeah, I'm starting a big summer film for next year right now that I'm excited. It's like it's one of those things. It's not even that I can't discuss it. It's just that it's as it's being crafted. I it's like it's not it's like not wanting to to tell people your baby name, you know. It's it's very exciting to me. And there's a couple things coming down the pike. There's a video game actually I just finished a couple years of work on that's finally coming out this year. I'm excited about. That's a very, you know what? That wasn't a good answer to your question because I didn't give you any names of anything. But yes, there are things coming down the pike that I'm very excited about, and for now, I'm just glad people are enjoying the show as much as I was. It was one of those things where I'm like, is this just for me? Are people going to like this? But I'm glad to see it.
What's the best way for people to keep up to date on all your work?
Oh, I've never had to do this, like plug a thing. I'm on Instagram. You can find me, and I have a website. I don't know. What do people usually do? They give their handles.
That
I
works
feel
for
like
me.
just Google me. I'm out there. But also I love that thing of when people are watching a film and they're like, "Oh my God, your name showed up," and I was I didn't know you did this music, and I was excited by the music, and so film composers were an interesting mix of in the background, but we want our music to be recognized. So I'm no exception to that.
That's the reason I love talking with you all. David Fleming, thank you so much for taking time to talk to me about Widow's Bay and all your other work. This has been a really delightful conversation.
Thanks so much, Nick. Appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.